With Big Bad Toy Store and Fresh Monkey Fiction teaming up to make the new Operation Monster Force 6-inch line of toys, fan interest in collector-driven military action figures has reached an all-time high with no end in sight. I'll draw your attention to the Monster Force reveal of a character named General Brown, who on the surface would make a great stand-in for almost any line of toys in the 1/12th scale. But if we veer a little away from the Monster Force official canon and merge our own headcanon with filling G.I. Joe classified character gaps, you'll see where I'm going with this. With multiple heads, swappable hands, and additional sunglasses, G.I. Joe classified collectors might be wise to pick this figure up, particularly as the bearded head sculpt that you see has a resemblance to the G.I. Joe general named Joe Colton, who has risen in popularity in collector circles over the last number of years. As stated in my Joe Colton history of the first G.I. Joe figure, with the name Joe Colton being introduced to the 1994 smaller Real American Hero line of figures and tying back to the original 12-inch line of G.I. Joe toys, he bore the signature scar upon this release that was also akin to the original larger line. Of course, a slightly aged 4-star General Colton would appear across multiple G.I. Joe comic incarnations, sporting a bearded look which looks like the 1970s Adventure Team figures, and this would be his signature, most accepted look over the years. As can be seen, the scar is also present on the bearded Operation Monster Force General Brown alternate head sculpt, and there's no way that's a coincidence. I suppose G.I. Joe enthusiasts may want a figure like this to stand in for their Joe Colton figure in their own classified line. And with all that said, you may also want to buy multiples of this figure. That's because when you look at the dark-haired head sculpt and the range of sunglasses offered, you can easily say that this could be General Flagg from his Marvel Comics appearance from the 1980s. That's right, Operation Monster Force has offered, at least indirectly, the ability to fill out your G.I. Joe upper brass ranks. And imagine how they would look next to a G.I. Joe classified General Hawk. I know that I'll be interested in buying 2 of these figures, and I don't think that the characters of General Flagg and General Colton are too deep of a cut to be out of the wheelhouse for most collectors that I associate with, but I'll also point out that the older head sculpt does bear a resemblance to General Gibbs, who was the head of the cabal of corrupt generals known as the Jugglers in the Devil's Due comic run of the 2000s. That said, he is an extremely deep cut in the G.I. Joe lore, so I could see G.I. Joe fans not relating to this character at all. Now, I'm not sure what Operation Monster Force's plans are for the character of General Brown in their storyline canon, and I'm making the assumption that General Brown's appearance will be of how he's portrayed in promotional images on the figure body on Big Bad Toy Store's website. Some fellow collectors have said that this head sculpt actually looks like an older Carl Weathers, and that for me makes him that much cooler. Anyway, I'm highly considering picking up 2 of these figures for my G.I. Joe Classified collection, and in the event that G.I. Joe Classified does decide to release official versions of General Colton or General Flagg, well, that's why there's 4 head sculpts for us to swap and display on our shelves and choose from. BBTS does list this figure at $36.99 American, so that's closer to the price of a G.I. Joe Deluxe figure rather than a standard figure, but I'll leave it up to you all to decide if this makes the figure worth it or not. In any case, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Will you be picking this one up? I'll leave a link to the Big Bad Toy Store website below as well for you to see this figure firsthand. Otherwise, yo Joe, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks again, and take care.